Hello, everybody. Brother Ed coming to you once again this morning from Louisville, Kentucky. And this is hopefully going to be, well, I don't know how much of this will be news. Some of it, yes, but not all of it. The main item of news is that although I don't believe for a second that this infraction, big one, of a Border Patrol agent represents everybody in Border Patrol. I really don't believe it does. I honestly think the majority of these people are very good, decent people who risk their lives on a daily basis to help people at the border as much as they can. However, one of them was not only arrested but has now been indicted for sex trafficking. And I really hope that they throw the book at that individual and put them away for the rest of their life. We do not allow this to diminish your respect for Border Patrol, because most of them are good people who are really doing as much as they can to help these poor, unfortunate people coming across the border who just want a better life than what they came from. I can't say that I blame them for doing things that they're doing the way that they're doing, coming across illegally, if that's the only way they can get here. I mean, people don't realize how bad of a situation a lot of them are coming from. There is at least one, I'm sure there's more than one, but the main organized crime gang that sticks out in my mind that is all over South and Central America is MS-13. And let me tell you, these people are ruthless, they are evil, they do not play. If they think that you are in any kind of a threat to them making their money, whether it be prostitution, drugs, whatever, they will literally behead you, dismember your body, leave your torso on the doorstep of your closest family member, hide your head and your limbs in different parts of the city or region that you live in, so that you're very difficult to even identify, much less find all of your remains so that you can be given a proper burial. That's the kind of people that these people who are coming across this border are trying to get away from. So, try to have some compassion and not be so one-sided. Because if you were living in that kind of terror, you would be probably taking some drastic measures to get away from it too. I'm sure that all of us would. Unfortunately, this is causing a very serious problem for border towns and border states. They're being flooded with people that they do not have the means to properly care for. And it's just sad. These poor people are coming over here thinking that as soon as they get here, everything's going to be peachy keen, and they're finding out that it's maybe not as bad as it was where they came from, but it's not as good as they had expected that it was going to be either. At any rate, crime is stepping up because, unfortunately, these places, like I said, they just do not have the means to properly care for these people. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to, same thing that we would do in a situation in which we had an EMP, a cyber attack on the power grid. What would we do? The vast majority of people would do whatever they had to make sure that that their family had what they need. And if you're single, you're going to do what you can to make sure you got what you need. Survival. People want to live. Not everybody would. I'm sure some people would just give up pretty quick and commit suicide. Maybe a lot. A lot of people just don't have what it takes to survive in that kind of a situation. So I think a lot of them likely would. The ones that didn't get shot because they don't, or stabbed or what have you, because they don't know how to hide. I suggest getting camouflage clothing. I would even, if you have wish.com, the app, go on there and look for the camouflage clothing because they've got a lot of good stuff at reasonable prices. They've even got camouflage slickers, they got camouflage cloaks, lots of really good stuff. I've bought some, I'm still buying more. I suggest that you do the same because you need to be as invisible as possible in situations like this. And it is very, I mean, look what they claim, okay, what the lamestream media claims happened to that pipeline. Personally, I do not believe for a second that it was a cyber attack. I believe it was all organized and pre-planned in advance, and it was likely our current administration that was directly responsible for it and behind the whole thing. Can I prove that? No, but I don't trust these people any further than I could pick them up and throw them. And to be quite honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me even if Trump was still in office, the same thing would have happened, and had it happened with him in office, he would have been behind it too. So don't think that Trump's going to come back in 2024 and be any kind of American savior, because he is not. He is no better than Biden. One's just as bad as the other. Your hope is in God, not in any mortal. So you just keep that in mind. In the meantime, because we got some crazy crap coming, folks, I'm telling you. Some crazy crap. It's just a matter of time before something does happen to the power grid. Just a matter of time. I know I'm going on, but I need to mention something else. And they're going to be behind that too. Don't think that they won't. I don't know how many of you are interested in audiobooks, but if you're on YouTube, look up America Falls. This is one hell of a great audiobook. I listen to it at this point every day. At least one part per day, which is about 10 chapters, I think, in each part. This is a really good story. And it is a very realistically put together story. The scenario is very, very possible that it could actually happen. Don't think for a second that a disease that is genetically specific to certain racial and ethnicities is not possible to create, because I got news for you. It is tedious and it's taxing and time consuming. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is very much possible, and it could very well happen. And not only that, but yeah, it's entirely within the realm of genetic science to be able to create a virus that would attack only adults or people over a specified age. It's definitely possible to do that. And not only the people over a specified age, but people of specific racial genetics. It can be done. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if it has already been done, and whoever created it is just waiting for the right time to unleash it on whoever they want to unleash it on, which, I hate to say it, but I would say probably the three most likely countries that something like that could be done to would be China, Russia, or the United States. Because they're really the three biggest and most powerful in the world, really, when you get down to the truth of it. And China is the biggest and the most powerful at this point of the three. So it doesn't really take much of a leap to figure out who would likely be behind it and one of two or possibly both of those two countries to be affected by something like this. So have a look at that. You might be very interested because this is a scenario that could very well happen, even if the power grid doesn't get attacked. A real genetically modified disease coming around is very possible. It could be even probable. So, in that kind of a situation, there would be very little of anything that anybody could do. Hopefully, instead of that, it would be the power grid instead, because that would definitely be considerably easier to move through eventually. You wouldn't be able to move through death other than going to the other side, and that's going to leave a lot of children at a big disadvantage. So, until next time, things we need to be doing while you still can get what you need, because hyperinflation is very much on its way, as well as complete societal collapse is coming, where there will be no rule of law other than the rule of law that you create within your family or your community. It's coming. We've seen a lot of examples of that already over the last year and a half in many places throughout the country, including here. Actually, to be honest with you, we had at Papa John's not too terribly long ago, maybe about a month ago, a black fella came into our store one night smoking a joint, and he was told at first, well, I can't really say that he was told politely, because people are not stupid. I don't care what color they are. They're not stupid. They know they can't come into a public place even smoking a regular cigarette, much less a joint. So, needless to say, the manager on duty was not particularly kind to him, and he didn't want to put his joint out. Well, she kept telling him, you either put it out or you leave. What did he do? He slapped her. He slapped her. And anyway, that's just one example of the way things are headed and how bad things are getting and how bad they're going to get. Just one example. She went out there after, which is not a good idea. I don't suggest that, but that's what she did. And the saddest part of the whole thing was when the police did arrive, they came right out and told her that it was unlikely that it would go anywhere simply because he was black and she was white. That is so asshole backwards ridiculous. But that's what they said. So, it's what it's coming to. Treat people the way you want to be treated, even if they're doing something really stupid. You still need to show as much kindness as possible, because I don't know if she had handled that a little bit differently than she had, because she's kind of high strung and quick tempered, but if she had handled that differently, it probably would have turned out differently. Honestly, I really think it would have. She was really as much to blame as he was. I ain't gonna say anything else, because she was. I would have handled that differently. You can't have that in here. People can't even smoke tobacco in here. You got to put that out. If we'll serve you, but you got to put that out. Just be as kind as you can be. Don't get forceful unless the time comes that you have to get forceful. Don't be that way right from the very beginning. That's a bad idea. Because you don't know what kind of personality that you're dealing with. You just don't know. So use your brain. It's what God gave it for us to use it. So, be in the Word. Pay attention to what you read, because it doesn't do any good if you don't. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Be as well prepared as you can be while you can still get that way, because the worst case scenarios are already here and they are coming. They're going to get worse as time goes on. So be ready for it, as ready as you can be. And folks, I'm telling you, I can't stress it enough. Divine intervention for your family and or whatever community that you create. It's very much needed every day, more than ever before, and more than the day before. Pray, pray, pray all throughout the day. I would suggest, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego prayed sunrise, noon, and sundown. Daniel prayed sunrise, noon, and at sundown. Not a bad idea at all. I think everybody at this point who is a believer should be doing the same thing. If you have the time, if you're not working, what have you, at noon or what have you, do that. And even if you are, you can still pray. Go in the bathroom, pray. Pray silently where you are while you're working, whatever, but pray for divine intervention. Till next time, Brother Ed signing out with love.